Okay, so earlier this week, it became known that nursing is no longer a professional degree. Now, there were other degrees in that, but nursing became the one that I know. I've been in nursing since 2009, so that's the one I'm going to talk about. Now, this was all part of the one big beautiful bill that had some just unfathomable number of pages in it, and no one decided to read it. And one of those pages apparently said that nursing is no longer going to be a professional degree. Now, full disclosure, I do not like Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I don't care for Donald Trump or his administration. And I am a Southern white man and a Republican. And I still did not and will not ever vote for Donald Trumpez. Just didn't and don't care for the man. With that being said, I may be a little biased. Forewarning, foreshadow. Now, many nurses, myself included, we went to community college. I don't want to say most nurses, but a lot of nurses went to community college. And so this really doesn't affect me directly, as I don't want to further my education. I have no want, no need to further my education. I have everything that I want and need right here where I'm at with the level of education that I have, and no more education for me, at least for the foreseeable future. So it doesn't affect me directly. Directly does not affect me. But who it does affect is those people who want to go on from community college or from a 4-year degree and then further themselves for an advanced nursing degree, such as a nurse practitioner. Now, a nurse practitioner, many of you may have a doctor who is actually a nurse practitioner that you don't realize is a nurse practitioner. You just call them, hey doc. Well, that person may be a nurse practitioner. Currently, with the stat that I found, now I don't know how well this stat is, but for the stat that I found, for every one nurse practitioner, there's 1.7 doctors. It is roughly a 0.3 or a 32% ratio. So almost 1/3. Almost 1/3 of people or career providers are NPs, not MDs. You also have PAs in that list, so it gets a little bit mixed up, but let's just say 1/3. Okay? If you go ahead and you say, okay, let's cut funding for the NPs. Now, this professional degree, basically what it did was it said, okay, you're no longer going to get loan forgiveness. You're not going to qualify for certain grants. You're not going to be able to qualify for certain student loans, things like that. A lot of money was cut because these people are no longer professional degrees. So a lot of funding was cut. So that really takes out a lot of people who can't really afford this off the get-go. You kind of have to have money to go to big-time colleges, graduate schools. They're very expensive. Not only do you have to pay for the school, but you sort of got to pay to survive, and that is also expensive. And so if you cut funding from the school, from the education part of it, you sort of limit who can afford to go further. Now, I said it doesn't directly affect me because I am not furthering my education, but here's how it indirectly affects me. What about the people who are furthering their education? Now, just a second ago, I gave a ratio of 1 to 3, roughly 32% are NPs. But in my area, it's actually reversed. I have 1 MD to 2 NPs directly. I am directly under these individuals. I am directly under 1 MD and 2 NPs as my direct providers that I work for, or that are my, let's just say I work for them. If you don't give funding for furthering education, this this ratio could get worse. We're already at a detriment in healthcare as it is. Now, here's the big issue that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, because I don't think it's on a lot of people's minds. As a nurse, as many times a supervising nurse, and as someone who's been in nursing for a very long time, I understand that I, myself, really can't do anything independently. I really can't do anything outside of like an emergent situation without a provider's order. Okay? You start taking away these NPs, or when these NPs start retiring out and we're not replacing them with new NPs, when an urgent matter happens, not necessarily emergency status, but an urgent matter happens and I have to call an on-call provider. And because we already are in a shortage and we're not sort of refilling these NPs who may be retiring out, whatever it may be, or the providers who are retiring out, I have an urgent matter and I call my on-call provider and I say, hey, I really need to discuss this matter, this urgent matter with you. I could be discussing that with a voicemail. I could be discussing that with an on-call provider who has 5 other nurses at the same time coming to them. And my urgent matter then gets sort of pushed down, lower and lower on the list. And then my urgent matter becomes an emergent matter, a big time emergency, because I can't react or I can't act independently without a provider's order. If I'm waiting hours upon hours upon hours because I can't get a hold of an on-call provider, or I don't have a provider on site, or I don't have a provider anywhere near me in the building who cannot get to me, bad things could begin to happen. NPs really play a very pivotal role in healthcare. A lot of times, probably 90% of the time, I am calling an NP for an on-call matter. Now, thankfully, I'm able to get a hold of a provider very quickly, very easily. With this new professional degree, money funding being cut, that could change, and that could change quickly. And it would not be for the betterment of anyone, really. We're already stretched so far thin in nursing. We've been stretched thin since really just before COVID, I would say. The nursing shortage was already there, and then it really kicked into overdrive when COVID happened, and we were seeing nurses come out of retirement to help, and it still wasn't enough. I can think of one off the top of my head that I actually worked with, a nurse who come out of retirement and worked with us during COVID, simply because we were just that stinking short. All it would take is not even a COVID pandemic, an H1N1, those of you who remember H1N1, something like that, or something that really didn't even affect us here in the States, but Ebola, or Ebola. We call it Ebola, okay, let me call it Ebola. And Ebola, something happened. Ebola really didn't, it affected a lot of people, don't get me wrong, it affected a lot of people, but we here in the States didn't see it. It wouldn't take much. It would take an Ebola, an H1N1, something like that, and then it would, with a shortage of NPs, a shortage of healthcare professionals, it wouldn't take a whole lot to really hurt the already fragile healthcare system that we have going on currently. Not only that, think about the nursing homes. They're not glamorous places to work. Nursing homes just aren't. A lot of times your providers in nursing homes are sort of on their way out already. They sort of want to wind down and get ready to retire. You know, who's going to replace them if we don't have NPs coming in, or PAs. What's gonna happen with all of this? So, pretty disgusted with this decision for the no longer a professional degree. Not very happy with this decision, even though, as I said, it does not directly affect me because I'm not furthering my education, but it would greatly affect me if something's not done to sort of change this, because these NPs, they need student loan money. Student loans are killing the country. And now, if they're going to really hurt the NPs, people just are not going to go for that degree. And the healthcare system will just get even worse. So, just my 2 cents now. It's, I am no columnist. I'm no expert really on politics or anything. I'm just some local idiot down here in North Carolina. But this has the very good potential to affect me greatly. And really, it has the potential to affect really any healthcare professional or healthcare setting. Just hate to see it. Just truly, truly, truly hate to see it. So, I don't want to say it is what it is, but that's kind of what it is. Hope it helps. Thank you much.